Welcome back to the It Girl Playbook. Today we'll be continuing our It Girl lessons from It Girls series, where we explore what it is that makes everyone so obsessed with some of our favorite iconic It Girls. By better understanding what makes them so magnetic, we can be inspired to adopt some of their most attractive qualities and values into our lives so that we can level up as well. In today's little lesson, we'll be taking a look at the Alison DiLaurentis and explore this complex paradox that she has of vulnerability and dominance. If you're unfamiliar with who Alison DiLaurentis is, she is one of the most unforgettable characters from the show Pretty Little Liars. She is the quote-unquote queen bee of her friend group and the catalyst behind pretty much everything that went down in the show. Alison is known for her charisma, intelligence, and her ability to leverage secrets like weapons. Love her or hate her, she is someone who leaves a lasting impression, which brings us to the lesson of this show, the power of vulnerability. On the surface, Alison appears to be untouchable. She is charming, she is confident, and always in control. But her true power and allure comes from her deep understanding of human emotions, including her own. Rather than shying away from vulnerability, Alison uses it strategically to connect with others, uncover their secrets, and then just as quickly flips that connection into influence. For example, when she saw that Hannah was struggling with losing weight, Alison opened up about facing similar issues and even shared this quote-unquote secret trick to help her. That moment of connection made Hannah feel closer to Alison than anyone else in that friend group. And this balance between openness and control is what makes her both relatable and untouchable. And this really highlights how important being emotionally intelligent is. While Alison sometimes does use it manipulatively, which I don't encourage, but the core lesson remains. Understanding emotions, yours and others, can really strengthen connections and build influence. The goal isn't to exploit vulnerabilities as Alison sometimes does, but to use them to create deeper and more meaningful relationships. I've had this conversation where people tell me about their situation and how they can't do this because of that, or they can't do that because of this. And I appreciate the vulnerability, and being able to be vulnerable is a big step, but it is also the first step, because imagine how powerful you can be if you were to use that to your advantage. Do you know how many people overcome their hardships and then become a beacon of inspiration for others? There's people who overcome poverty, abuse, trauma, and come out the other side better. They use their situations as a source of motivation, and they view other people's success as inspiration. This is how powerful vulnerability really can be if you use it to your advantage. And Alison really understood the power of leveraging vulnerability as a source of power. Although her methods weren't always admirable, her influence speaks volumes about how transformative vulnerability can be when leveraged with intention. And although her methods weren't always admirable, we also can't seem to hate her as a character. Even her friends in her circle had this love-hate relationship with her. If we were to explore this on a deeper level, we begin to notice that Alison's ability to leverage other people's vulnerabilities doesn't stop at connection. It's also a catalyst for growth. Alison has a way of pushing her friends to confront their mistakes and flaws, often in ways that feel uncomfortable or even manipulative. For example, how she pressured Arya to reveal her father's affair, or when she caught Spencer with her sister's fiance and urged her to come clean about this relationship. On the surface, these actions may seem harsh, even cruel if friendships are about unconditional love and support, but on a deeper look, reveals Alison's true intention is that she is forcing her friends to face uncomfortable truths that they would rather avoid. And so in many ways, Alison acts as a mirror, reflecting back to the parts of themselves that they want to hide. She's not the kind of friend who sugarcoats the truth, and instead, she calls you out to your face, but will defend you behind your back. While her approach is far from gentle, it's rooted in pushing her friends to grow, and I think this is why, despite her flaws, Alison remains this friend that they cannot help but love. By making her friends uncomfortable, she forces them to grow, and that's why for all of her flaws, we can't seem to hate her entirely. This duality between love and hate, respect and fear, is what makes Alison so unforgettable. Her friends resent her for using their secrets and vulnerabilities, for putting them in what seems to be impossible situations, and for making them confront confront truths that they'd rather avoid and sweep under the rug. But deep down, they know Allison is right. Arya's mom deserved to know the truth, and Spencer needed to face her mistakes. Allison, for all of her flaws, made them stronger. Sometimes she is hated as a villain, but she is that villain that helps you grow. She is the one who pushed them to be better even when it hurt. And isn't that what true friendship is about? Not just being there for the good times, but helping someone to become the best version of themselves, even when they hate you for it. You don't have to manipulate or confront people the way that Allison does, but honesty, when delivered with care, can be such a powerful tool. There is that question that people ask whether or not the end justifies the means or if the intent justifies the action. You can be honest with those you love and you can still be rude, right? Two things can be true at the same time. This is something that I've had to learn in my own life, especially in my relationship with my dad. He always has my best intention at heart. There's no question about that. And so when he gives me advice and he gives me, a talk, I know that it is rooted from love, but sometimes his delivery just is not the best. I'm not saying that he doesn't need to work on his delivery, just like Allison couldn't have treated her friends better. There's moments where I genuinely get really upset with my dad, just like there are moments where Allison's friends hated her for putting them in what seems to be impossible situations. But I find myself going back to my dad for advice, just like her friends stuck by Allison even at her worst. When someone genuinely wants the best for you, even if their delivery misses the mark, you can still feel it. And so truth, when rooted in love and delivered with care and with respect, is one of the greatest gifts that you can give. And Allison, she understood that better than most. So here is my takeaway. Stay true to your intentions and be honest with the people that you love, even when it is hard. And remember, there's power in vulnerability. It's not about being perfect or always knowing the right thing to say and the right things to do, but it's about using your emotional awareness to connect, to grow, and challenge both yourself and others. Like Allison, you can use vulnerability as a strength and an opportunity to guide others through tough moments and help them become a better version of themselves. Vulnerability isn't a weakness, but rather a incredibly powerful tool if you use it to your advantage. That's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode. I hope to see you in the next one. And in the meantime, as always, stay hot. Bye.